Okay, here we go. Another new video from Alchemy Custom Weaponry. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little walk down memory lane here. We're going to say hello to the early 80s, the late 70s, and we're going to look at a little piece of 1911 history here. Those are your hands, Jim, right?
Yeah, these are actually Jim's hands.
So why don't you tell everybody what we're looking at here?
This is a customer gun, and what we're going to do to this gun, we're going to turn this into a carry gun. As you can see, it's got a lot of 1970s, early 80s styling cues. You've got the trigger shoe on there, which is now generally regarded as a real bad idea. We've got this really old school Bomart, which is really cool, but unfortunately somebody had the bright idea that they wanted to chrome plate the sights. I don't know what they were thinking of there. You got the old school Packmeyers wrap around, no checkering on the gun or anything.
Hey, I still like those though.
Oh, you know? Yeah. You got your little short tang, grip safety. It'd be a real hand biter. You got a King's thumb safety, all kinds of old school stuff, kind of cool. It's got an old National Match Colt slide on it. This is an aluminum frame, and it's an old A&R sales frame, which we had to look up on the internet to figure out what that was.
Google, baby.
Basically, out of California, they were part of federal ordinance when it became a company, and they kind of disappeared in the early 80s. Basically, we're going to turn this into a 5-inch lightweight carry gun. I know you're probably wondering why are we going to waste all that time on that, but it's kind of a popular thing right now. A lot of new carry laws and stuff, and you get the benefits of a long 5-inch barrel and sight radius, but you still get the benefits of a lightweight frame. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane with this. We're going to strip it apart, take a look at it. There's some issues with it that we're going to talk about, what we're going to do to it, things that people did to it back then that are like, nowadays you just shake your head and you wonder what were they thinking.
Exactly.
So we're going to pull the grips off.
It's going to be kind of a quick tear down. We're going to indicate things you might want to look for on your own 1911 as you're tearing it down. There's always a lot of questions about when should I change my recoil spring? You know,
right.
What should I have around for spare parts? We're going to touch on those topics as we go along.
This gun, we'll pull these grips off, and we're gonna ditch these grips, and we'll probably put a nice set of some kind of newer wonder material like G10 or something grips on it. We haven't really decided on what they're gonna exactly look like. You can see it's got some little bit of aluminum corrosion going on there. Nothing too serious that we can't fix. It's a little different looking. Doesn't have the big cutout like a regular 1911 frame does. Make sure it's obviously not loaded. Ouch. Finger's not where it's supposed to be.
Hey, we believe in shooting these videos one take and one take only.
Sorry about that.
Because if you go back, you really start overthinking this thing.
Take that out. Pull the thumb safety out right here. This old King safety. Little Packmeyer flat housing.
Good old plastic.
Pop the pins out. You got some definitely old school, your old rowel hammer. You got an old, oh my God, you got an old Series 70 school sear there with that tiny little spring in there. Keep it. It's an old gold cup, like an old gold cup sear.
Nice.
Yeah.
Best you can get.
Yeah.
Just ask any 90-year-old man out there.
We're going to pretty much replace all these fire control parts with a modern looking commander style hammer. Probably like on this gun here. This is an SV hammer. we'll probably do something kind of like this, similar to that, and then we're going to use an ultralight.
One of our very own Alchemy Custom Weaponry prototype light sears.
Yep. So we're going to use that. Where's my, should have all that laid out. Sorry.
You want to stop and reshoot this?
You don't care?
It's going to be a long one today.
Yeah. Can just reblend that in.
We can edit it.
Yeah.
We'll edit that all out.
Okay. You want to pull your mag catch out and your mag catch lock. Remember, when you're taking these apart, it's not a screw. It's just in this little groove here. Comes right out. There's your spring.
I want to make sure that stays clean and there's nothing in there. A lot of times you'll get, those will start to rust in there. Sometimes you'll get some kind of maybe sandblasting sediment from when the product was finished. If you've got a blued mag catch, a lot of times it'll have sand down in there from when they sandblasted the mag catch or they polished it.
Right.
And that stuff will get bluing and oil in there, and then it'll just stay trapped in there. And over time, it can cause your mag catch to hang up. Your lock will get hung up in there.
We're going to retain this mag catch. It's kind of a neat old checkered one, and there's no reason to really replace it. We'll just reblend it to the frame a little bit when we refinish it. We're going to strip all this chrome off, and then we're just going to, the whole gun is basically going to be black. And then a couple tips with these you want to look for when you're putting one in and installing it. This one doesn't have it, but generally I like to break this corner right here so it's rounded. Sometimes you run into an instance where when you're working the mag catch, in and out, the lock will want to rotate a little bit, and if you have that corner broken off, it'll glide past that corner and not catch. Also, you want to take, it's nice if you just take them like on a little belt sander or something, just barely flatten the ends of those springs so that way you got two flat surfaces sitting on each other, and it tends to keep that from rotating on its own.
Yeah, that really helps.
We took the trigger shoe off. That's anymore nowadays. That's generally regarded as a bad idea to have those. Reason being, on a carry gun, obviously it sticks out wide. It's wider than the trigger guard. Put it in a holster, you got it cocked. It can go off. Generally not anymore regarded as current. The trigger's pretty much standard, a standard short trigger, aluminum. We're gonna go with probably a long solid trigger with maybe some custom looking designs milled into it. We're kind of hashing that out right now.
We're going to lighten the trigger bow too.
Right. Probably put some holes in it. And right here on this, you can already see this safety detent is broken inside there. Plunger tube is loose. All these things aren't uncommon on a gun at this age. That's one thing on it when you're stripping a 1911. You want to make sure you look out for when you're checking your own gun.
Definitely plunger tube.
See if they're
check that plunger
see if
tube.
they're loose. You can see this one is loose. It's wiggling. You want to punch that out of there. Spring's got the kink in it like it should. Basically on this frame then, it's just an alloy frame, so we're basically going to clean up. We'll probably clean up the scallops and stuff, and we're thinking about doing a front strap treatment here of some type, like some kind of scallop or maybe like a golf ball dimple, something of that nature. Nice grippy, and then we're going to refinish it in a black finish. Nothing really too much exciting else on this gun. It's got a standard ejector in it that's not fit very well. The top end we're looking at, it's got this old school recoil absorption unit that kind of predates most of that stuff you see now with dual recoil springs and stuff. Regular recoil spring. Gun like this, a 5-inch gun, you want to change your recoil spring probably about every 3,000 rounds. Anytime you you start getting into the shorter and shorter envelope in these guns, you want to change it more frequently. We're going to put a cart barrel in it. We're going to see if we can, this has got a national match bushing in it. We're going to see if we can reuse it. If we can't, we'll just use a new one, a new cart bushing.
And it is pretty tight.
It is.
I'm going to give you that.
It is fit fairly decently at the front end. You can see it.
Looks like another popular brand of pistol that I've seen on takedown.
It's almost too tight on this. Well, you can see on this barrel, if I would have showed you before when it was assembled, if we would have pushed down on that barrel, there was a fair amount of movement. Whoever originally barreled this gun, and I don't know who it was, they didn't really leave any locking area here. On a gun like that Bear, you'll see that it actually has like flats up here. This gun just has one big slope. No real lock up to
It's really just kind of a ramp.
Yep.
And there's really not much left of those lugs as far as support. Those could break off.
So we'll dispose of this. We'll send it back to the owner. Another thing to look out for when you strip your gun, make sure your link pin is flush, is not sticking out. This one, when I took it apart, I found out is just in there, rattling around, loose.
Poke it right out, and we might as well take it out now because it's not gonna go back in that gun.
So, another thing you want to look for when on a gun like any of these guns, when you pull them apart, you want to check after you've shot one a while. You want to kind of make sure you check around your lugs here, make sure there's no signs of any cracking or the lugs pulling away from the barrel. That can happen. Things like that.
They can also break off where the slide stop is actually mating to the barrel right there.
You can shear these off. These can shear off in a high round cunt gun, or even a gun that's not maybe properly fitted barrel. I've seen them shear off where one will shear off, and the guy won't even know it until that piece floats around in there and jams up the whole kit and caboodle. Like I said, national match top end. We're gonna, nothing too exotic here. We'll swap out the extractor, put a new one in it. New firing pin spring. We'll install. That one is pretty much trashed. That is like way shorter than it should be.
Funny thing is, it probably worked perfectly fine.
Probably it did. Run.
He wasn't complaining.
It did run as far as feeding and everything. It ran perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean this gun, unbelievable that it still ran when it came in. So it makes you kind of scratch your head when a guy gets on a forum and says, I've got a brand new this or that, and I just can't get it to run. And this gun will just chew up anything you throw in it. It'll feed rocks.
So anyway, we'll pull these sights. We're gonna put. He wants us to put a pair of heinies in it, and this is just an old standard dovetail that they drifted a Bomar in. So we'll cut a low mount cut in there and put a heiny straight 8 front and rear in it. That'll pretty much take care of the top end. We're going to put a forged slide stop in it. We'll probably put a EGW bar stock safety in it, maybe a bar stock plunger tube from them. Beaver tail, we're kind of still up in the air about exactly what brand, but we're going to put one in with a bump on it, or a memory groove, whatever you want to call it. And
probably going to do a little treatment on the bump as well.
Yeah. Something
to match the front strap and the mainspring housing.
Something that's grippy, but it's not going to tear your hand up. So that's pretty much, you got it pretty much tore down right now. I mean, we'll pull the plunger tube and the grip screw bushings off and stuff, but I mean, it's pretty much stripped. We'll have to, pull the sights off before we work on it. And we're probably going to take this gun. It's really, really pretty darn loose. You can hear that? So this is a pretty good candidate. We're going to AccuRail it, and that'll tighten that.
And that'll address a lot of the emotional issues tied to having an alloy frame gun. A lot of times you're questioning the durability. AccuRails will take care of that right now.
Yep, you'll have those hardened steel rails there. You won't have to worry about any kind of wear, and if the rails do wear, you can replace them.
$35 a pair.
So you're set there. So that, kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're going to do with this gun. A lot of parts replacement, a lot of fitting, a lot of work, but in the end, it'll really, we like to think it'll really knock your socks off.
What do we call this package? What are we doing to this thing?
Well, this one, I guess we're calling this the Hand of Doom.
The Hand of Doom carry package. It's going to be black. It's going to be blacker than black.
Yep. Pretty much everything will be black on it.
So stay tuned. We're gonna track every little piece of handwork that we do to this, and we're gonna post the videos, and then you can see the finished product.
Yep. Stay tuned. You won't even recognize it.